Comparing the United States government system to other countries and their systems. First off, United States is a federal constitutional republic in which the President of the United States, Congress, and judiciary share powers reserved to the national government, and the federal government shares sovereignty with the states' governments. Next, monarchies is a form of government in which sovereignty is actually or nominally embodied in a single individual, the monarch. Forms of monarchy differ widely based on the level of legal autonomy. The monarch holds in governance the method of selection of the monarchy and any predetermined limits on the length of their tenure. When the monarch has no or few legal restraints in the state and political matters, it is called an absolute monarchy. Next, dictatorship is a form of government that has the power to govern without the consent of those who's being governed, similar to authoritarianism. While totalitarianism describes as a state that regulates nearly every aspect of the public and private behavior of its people. In other words, dictatorship concerns the source of the governing power, and totalitarianism concerns the scope of the governing power. Theocracy is a form of government in which a deity is officially recognized as a civil ruler and official policy is governed by officials regarded as divinely guided or persistent to the doctrine of a particular religion or religious group. Next, oligarchy is a form of a power structure in which power effectively rests in a small number of people. These people could be distinguished by royalty, wealth, family ties, education, corporate, or military control. This can be also passed down through family. Next one is parliamentary system. It's a system of democratic governance of a state in which the executive branch derives in democratic legitimacy from and is held accountable to the legislative parliament. The executive and legislative branches are thus interconnected in a parliamentary system. The head of state is normally a different person from the head of government. This is in contrast to the presidential system in a democracy, where the head of state often is also the head of government. And most importantly, the executive branch does not derive its democratic legitimacy from the legislative, or like constitutional monarchy. Unitary system, a system of the political organization in which most or all of the governing powers reside in a centralized government, in contrast with the federal system. Last but not least, proportional elections is a concept and voting system used to elect an assembly or council. PR means that the number of seats won by a party or a group of candidates is proportional to the number of votes received. For example, under a PR voting system, if 30% of votes support a particular party, then roughly 30% of seats will be won by that party. Has this smudge always been on the screen? Why do you guys say anything? I've been talking like an idiot.
U.S. trade policy, the TPP, led by the acting Deputy Assistant Secretary Robert Main-Oag, advances U.S. trade policy objectives by opening new export opportunities for American businesses, farmers, ranchers, and workers through global, regional, and bilateral trade initiatives, including free trade agreements, FTAs, and the World Trade Organization, WTO. In partnership with agencies across the federal government, the more than 50 TPP professionals and staff work to maximize the benefits of open markets for the global economic development, address and resolve trade disputes, strengthen intellectual property enforcement, and improve access for U.S. goods and services abroad.